Welcome back to PC Builder. I'm Jason. All right, early Black Friday sales are almost here. We've got Black Friday coming down the pike, and we just had Amazon Prime Day sales. What does that portend for the deals that we can expect throughout the rest of the fall? And are there some items like RAM, for instance, that might spike up in price despite those sales that you should be picking up right now and not waiting? If you get value out of this video, please give it a like. It makes a huge difference to the channel. And of course, subscribe for more cool PC content. Let's jump into it. This video is sponsored by Seasonic, who many consider the gold standard in PC power supplies. I recommend Seasonic PSUs because they're built to last and perform under load. For PC enthusiasts looking for ultimate performance, Seasonic's flagship Prime TX lineup delivers. ATX 3.1 and PCIe 5.1 compatible with 1300 and 1600 watt versions for maximum power needs. The Prime TX PSUs now come with updated 12-volt 2x6 cables for increased safety and reliability with RTX 50 series GPUs. And Seasonic's digital fan control means the PSU stays cool and quiet under load. If you are looking for no compromises, performance in power, thermals, and noise, check out the Seasonic Prime TX 1300 and TX 1600 using the link in the video description. All right, let's talk about Black Friday sales, early Black Friday sales, what you can expect. Remember, Black Friday takes place the day after the US Thanksgiving holiday. That holiday basically floats around November. It just has to do with how many Thursdays there are in November. I know, super confusing, right? And this year, just like last year, it's very, very late. It's November 28th. It was November 29th. Now, typically it's like the 21st to the 26th instead. What does that mean for the deals that you're looking for out there? I believe it means that we're going to get a lot more sales time than we were necessarily expecting. I put together a very quick calendar here just to help you understand. This is November itself. We're still in October as I make this. Sometimes the sales right now are even better than the early Black Friday sales or Black Friday sales. Just keep that in mind. But let's go through this. I think early Black Friday is either going to start the weekend starting on October 30th, Saturday the 1st and Saturday the 2nd, or it'll start the next week, 7th, 8th, and 9th. Now, it might depend on different retailers. Typically, if Amazon starts kind of early Black Friday deals, everybody else is going to follow. However, other retailers like Newegg, for instance, might just decide to start their early stuff towards the end of October. One thing I'm going to caution you right away is if you're looking to build an entirely new gaming PC or you want to upgrade your GPU, we see this every year. Graphics cards will likely sell out before we even get to Black Friday. They will likely sell out. At least most of the big great deals out there are going to sell out probably the week of Black Friday. So just be ready to jump on something if that's what you're looking for. The final deals, they typically start on actual Thanksgiving. They used to not start on Thanksgiving, but it's gotten earlier and earlier every year. Could even be Wednesday the 26th when some of those deals happen. Now, some deals are going to be date dependent. They're only going to be available on Friday the 28th or possibly Saturday the 29th. So you have to kind of suss that out. If you wait till Cyber Monday, typically Cyber Monday, you can find a couple of good deals, but you're picking through whatever is left out there. Now, there are a couple of components I absolutely do not want you to wait for Black Friday sales on. I want you to buy as soon as you can when you find a good deal. That's because the prices, regardless of the sales, are likely about to spike. And I say spike massively. What am I talking about? I'm talking about RAM prices and SSD prices. But let's start off with DDR4 RAM prices. They've already spiked. We've seen this, especially those of you building more budget gaming systems, unlike the older Intel platforms, 12, 13, 14 gen, or Ryzen 5000. DDR4 costs have nearly doubled from where they were just a couple months ago. Now, the reason for this, it's because DDR4 is not being made in any large quantities any longer, and the big backlog of DDR4 that we had, we've kind of worked through it. So a lot of people hoarded it, especially for servers and for other things. They've been hoarding it. And we've seen as a result, DDR4 prices absolutely skyrocket. This is a little harder to see. I'm going to blow this up just a little bit. Now, the line here, this is January. You can see the price was about $40 or so for a 32 gigabyte kit. Very quickly, it spiked up to about $80 for a 32 gigabyte kit. That's crazy. It's going to go even higher, and it's basically pushing those more budget platforms completely off the table for those of you considering a gaming PC build like under $800. But here's the big problem for those of you looking to build systems more than $800 US. So you're looking to build on AM5 or possibly the Core Ultra series, anything that uses DDR5 RAM. Guess what? DDR5 RAM has, in the last couple of weeks, absolutely skyrocketed in price. You're like, what's going on? I thought DDR5 RAM was coming down in overall price. It was, except AI data centers are literally vacuuming up DDR5 RAM, any RAM basically out there, as well as flash storage. So that's like SSDs. And this does not just impact PCs out there. This literally impacts every device that you can buy out there. We are approaching what many people think may be a decade-long pricing apocalypse. I'm using that in quotes. Now listen, this might be a little bit bombastic in terms of language, but I think the warning it's giving is really well taken. AI data center has spiked out there. The number of these data centers being built is absolutely crazy. We're talking hundreds and hundreds of billions, possibly trillions in terms of overall investment versus the PC gaming market, which is relatively small. Who's going to win there? It's going to be AI, and they're the ones who are signing big long-term contracts for RAM. Now, if you look at 32 gigabyte DDR5 6000 kits, that's typically what I recommend for Ryzen systems on AM5 and basically all the Intel systems on DDR5 as well. The pricing since beginning of January right here on this line, it's been relatively stable. We had a little bit of a price bump when the GPUs came out in April. That's kind of to be expected. People were building gaming PCs when those GPUs first launched. And then look at this giant spike that happened at the end of September. It's only about a month later as I'm filming this. Look at this, kaboom. Well, what does this look like in real life? Some of the value kits here, I'm in PC Part Picker. We're looking at DDR5 kits that are 6000 speed and that are basically the kind of speed that I would recommend, CL30 or CL28 out there. These kits used to start in the 70s. Now they start at $107. Yeah, well, Jason, that's $40. What's the big deal if I have to spend an extra $40 on your RAM? Look, that is within a month. They have spiked $40 in a month. That's a 50% price spike in a month. And really quickly, they get up into nosebleed territory. They get up to $140, and we've only gone through like 8 or 9 kits here. These kits that are cheaper are going to sell out. I want you to buy them right now. I want you to buy whatever RAM you think you need right now. And I also want you to know that it's okay to buy slightly slower speed RAM if you have to for your budget. DDR5 6000 CL32, probably fine. I've seen some of those kits out there. If you get a 6400 CL32 kit, you can give that a try. If it doesn't run on your system, just turn the speed down to 6000 CL32 would be absolutely fine. And of course, you can look for 5600 stuff as well. Let's punch through some of the discounts we saw on Prime Day. Are they going to come back for early Black Friday sales, or are they going to get even cheaper for Black Friday? Let's quickly go through what I call the best budget 1440p graphics card in 2025. That is the RX 9060 XT 16 gigabyte, has FSR4 on it, 16 gigs of VRAM. And I told you, yes, there are MSRP models out there, but those are MSRP cards. And I thought it wasn't going to go below $349 for Prime Day. But I thought some of the more premium models like the overclocked models and the 3-fan models might get down to $349. That's exactly what we saw. We saw the XFX Swift model. We actually have this one, by the way. It's a great model. $349. We saw some of the other more premium ones also come down, not quite to MSRP, but pretty close. Of course, I also told you the RX 9070 would likely hit its MSRP during Amazon Prime Day. Yes, in fact, it did. $546, slightly below MSRP. I know, cough, cough, $3, right? But the thing I like about this overall is that we do see them coming down in price. Now, will we see a big discount for these on Amazon Prime Day? I think $525 is probably about as likely as $550 right now. That being said, they're also likely to possibly sell out. This is not a huge in-demand GPU. However, I've heard the yields on the 9070 XT are actually very good. So they just don't have as many of these as they do the 9070 XT or 9060 XT. Speaking of the 9070 XT, it got down to $629, $30 above MSRP still. I get it, but much cheaper than the RTX 5070 Ti, as we'll see in just a moment. And this is a more premium model. I mean, in their defense, this is a model that would typically sell for $30 to $50 above MSRP, and that is the Power Color Hellhound. So I think if you pick this up for $629, you actually got a pretty good deal on it. Where they're now, they're like $660 again. Will we see bigger discounts for Black Friday on the 9070 XT? I think we will see it hit MSRP, but probably only on the MSRP models. And I would double check the Power Color models and the XFX ones first. Finally, for NVIDIA, I told you they hate giving discounts. True to form, not a single discount really out there. Yeah, we saw one 5070 or two 5070s go for $10 off. But what they did do is they combined it with a free game, and that is Arc Raiders Deluxe Edition. It's a $59 value, I believe, on Steam. Double check me on that. Let me know down in the comments if I'm incorrect about that. I wasn't really that familiar with the game until I checked into it, and I gotta tell you, it seems pretty awesome, and I'm kind of on the hype train. It does have a pretty big community out there of people who are excited waiting for this game. That game bundle only goes through right now, November 2nd, although it's while supplies last, and oftentimes those supplies will run out, especially at Amazon first. Newegg will typically have it until right around the time it goes away. So if you want it, I would grab it. I don't expect to see big discounts for these NVIDIA GPUs. So this, if you like this game and you want to get a free game or some kind of discount on it, this is the one I would pick up. And if we put all the various GPUs and deals we saw on Amazon Prime Day, 5060 Ti 16 gigabyte only got down to $419. That's after there was one in September at $379. Again, I think $379 would be a really good price for that GPU. I would probably pick it up over the 96 XT 16 gig at $349. $30 difference there is enough for me to say, hey, DLSS 4 has wider game support, even though the technologies are roughly equal at 1440p. But $80, that's a really, or $70, that's a tough pill to swallow, especially when I'm getting more premium models for the 9060 XT at $349. The rest of the stack here, the 5090 seems to be getting more expensive. I told you a while back, I thought the true MSRP of that was about $2,400. And I think except for the models that have been seemingly discontinued and they cut them down to $1,999 just to liquidate them, that's where we're seeing the price settle out at $2,400 essentially. It's actually come up from $2,300 in September. The 5080, 5070 Ti, again, and 5070, maybe the 5070 will see some price discounts down to like maybe $529. It's tough to say on the rest of these. Yeah, nobody really cares. The Intel Arc B570 got a discount down to $209. Intel, keep cutting those prices and you'll start selling those things. Overall though, if you want GPU deals, they're just not going to be there. You got to pick them up for the best price you get. Let's talk about OLED deals before we get into CPUs and everything else. We saw some pretty big OLED deals on Prime Day, but there's something big coming that a lot of people are waiting for, and you might want to wait for it too. If you don't want to wait for it, I'm certainly on board with that as well. So we saw some pretty good deals. This is 4K 240 hertz for $749. Lowest price ever pretty much on 4K 240 hertz. Now these are the 3rd gen QD OLED panels that are absolutely incredible and kind of put to shame the previous gen panels out there. But as with technology, there's always something new coming. There is the 4th gen W OLED panels. So LG makes the W OLED panels, Samsung makes the QD OLED. The 3rd gen QD OLED put the 2nd or 3rd gen W OLED panels to shame, but now LG's fighting back. They have figured out how to get the brightness, because that's OLED's main struggle point, is getting the brightness high enough out there, and they're not as bright as LCD panels until W OLED shows up, and maintaining just everything else, the clarity on the picture, the motion handling, everything. They've basically done it in this next generation of panels to a level that I was not expecting. And the early reviews on the MO27Q28G seem phenomenal. But I will caution you, I think these are going to be unobtainium, just like the very 1st gen panels were. You may not be able to get them for 6 months. These panels were supposed to have already launched in the United States in September. It's mid-October. They're not here yet. I suspect what we're seeing is they're going to struggle to supply enough to the market. And yes, while the price is supposed to be $400, I think they'll quickly spike up well over that price. So I think then deals like this start to look good, because again, it's like comparing a Porsche to a Ferrari. Yeah, maybe the Ferrari is slightly better, but the Porsche is still amazing, especially if you're paying these kinds of prices. $419. These are 240 hertz, 1440p OLED panels, or $449 for the MSI models. And they're great gaming monitors. Now, of course, this is the 360 hertz Alienware. I expect these panels will still continue to be available. So I'm not saying don't buy if you want to try your hand at getting like the Gigabyte 4th gen 240 hertz W OLED panel out there. Certainly go ahead. Just when they do sell out, these will still be out there. Let's talk about CPU deals, and are they going to get any better for Black Friday? We saw the 7800X 3D, $338. That's a great deal, and it's still available for that price. Now, here's the thing. Its historic low price, I think, was $320 for one day in 2004, and I think that was probably a mistake because it immediately went away. This is near its historic low price. I would probably snap it up for this. I actually thought it would sell out over Amazon Prime Day. I was actually wrong. This did not sell out over Amazon Prime Day. I was a little shocked by that. Maybe they have a bigger supply of 7800X 3Ds than I was aware of. Possibly expect to maybe get a little bit cheaper, but not that much cheaper. Here was another deal. Newegg had the Core Ultra 7 265K with a 360mm all-in-one liquid cooler. By the way, I looked up the reviews on this MSI 360. They're actually very, very good. It's one of the higher performance ones out there. And A more premium Z890 motherboard for $169 if you comboed it all together was crazy, crazy good. For those of you looking for either a performance production system or a high performance gaming and production hybrid system out there, this was a good deal. Actually, it's still available right now as I'm filming this. It's still doing a fantastic sale out there. I'll leave this one linked down in the video description if you want to check it out. I was a little disappointed by what I saw in terms of the Ryzen 5 CPUs. We did not see any discount on the Ryzen 9600X at all. Possibly going to see that for Black Friday. We got down to $156 for Amazon Prime Day in July. But we did see $165 for the Ryzen 7600X, not its lowest price, but it's kind of one of the lower prices that we've seen from it in 2025, I should say. We also saw some pretty good motherboard deals. I want to mention that. Check out our best Ryzen motherboard 2025 fall guide for even more on that. We did see some other discounts for Intel, but I want to caution like this i5-14600K that people were super interested in, and I did find some pretty good DDR5 motherboards out there also on sale. The i5-14600K completely sold out. Now we might get a little bit more stock. It might come back, but I think those budget CPUs, particularly like the 12400, the 14400, the 13400, largely sold out except for the 12400. If you're looking for a more budget gaming CPU, I'd buy it now. And finally, if you want something with a little bit more CPU oomph, but you can't quite go up to the 7800X3D, the 9700X did get down to $250. Will we see that again? I think so, because this CPU is a terrible seller from everything that I've heard and from watching the bestseller charts out there. Around $250 is where it starts moving. I do suspect it's $329 again right now. Don't buy it for $329. Buy the 7800X3D. I don't know why anyone in their right mind would buy this CPU instead of the 7800X3D when they're roughly the same price. I do expect probably to come down about $250, maybe even a little bit lower on Black Friday. So let's play everyone's favorite game. Should you buy now or should you wait? Well, honestly, if you're looking to either upgrade or build a new system and you need RAM or SSDs, buy it right now. I'd find the best RAM deal I can. I expect those RAM prices to continue to spike up throughout the rest of the year. Well, I'm not even sure where they're going to end up in the long term. Right now, paying an extra $30 or $40 for your RAM, not a big deal. An extra $100 might really, really hurt if you wait too long. On the other hand, I think for GPUs, you can certainly wait until we get a little bit closer to Black Friday if you're just not ready to buy, if you think you can find a slightly better deal. Just want to caution you, typically the deals aren't that amazing. Maybe you'll save another $20 or $30 on that RX 9070 XT, and oftentimes they run out of stock as we get towards Black Friday, so you do run that risk. To me, if you want an NVIDIA GPU 5070 or higher and you like the game bundle, I would pick it up with the game bundle. That's probably better than any discount that you'll find. For CPUs and other items, I think you're pretty good to wait if you want to. I don't think the 7800X3D is going to get a lot cheaper, so I might pick that up. The 9800X3D is still at MSRP right now. I don't expect it to move off, and I do think there is some danger of that one selling out, but if those aren't the CPUs you're looking for, if you're looking for a 9700X deal, if you're looking for a 9600X, 7600X, those kinds of deals, they'll probably be out there for what we saw around Amazon Prime Day and maybe even a little bit cheaper. Of course, if you're looking for an OLED gaming monitor, an LCD gaming monitor, or like keyboards, mice, things like that, I think you are absolutely fine to wait. I don't think those are going to sell out, and I do think we're going to see better deals as we get towards Black Friday. If you do need some help putting together your gaming PC, you're not sure what RAM to get, you're not sure which CPU or GPU to get, check out our best CPU-GPU combo guide. We've got best guides on Ryzen motherboards. We've got all kinds of different build guides for like the 9600X, 7600X, 7800X3D, and the 9800X3D, so check those out. And if you got value out of this video, please give it a like. It makes a huge difference to the channel. And of course, subscribe for more cool PC content. And we'll catch you on the next one.